Good morning, Ajahn.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Let us pay respect to Ajahn by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. To begin with the chanting, may we invite Ajahn to lead us in the chanting, please.
Okay, so we start with the Buddha verse on loving kindness. Now let us chant the Buddha verse on loving kindness. Karaniyamatha kusalena yantang santang patang apisamecha sakto uchu cha suhuchu cha suvacho cha samuthu anatimani santussako cha suparo cha appakicco cha sallahukavutti santintriyo cha nipako cha appakappo kulesu ananukhitto na ca kutthaṃ samācare kinti yena vinyu pare upavathayung sukhino va khemino hontu sapphe sattā bhavantu sukhitattā ye keti pāna bhūtā thitasa va thāvara va anavase sāthi khāvā ye mahantā va Machimara saka anukathura Tithava ye ca atitha ye ca ture vasanti aviture Bhutava sampave siva sapphe satta bhavantu sukhitatta Naparo parang nikupphe thananti manye thakathajinang kinti payaro sanapatika sanya Nanyamanya satukhamicchaya mata yathaniya puttang ayusa eka puttamanurakhe evam pisappapute sumana sampavaye aparimanang metan ca sapphalokasming mana sampavaye aparimana uttang atho jatiriyan ca asampatang averang asapatang titthang jarang nisinno va sayano va yavatassa vikhatamito etang sating atithaya brahma meta viharang itama hutit tin ca anupakhamma sila vathassanena sampanno kame suvinaya kethang nahi chatu khappasayang punareti ti. Now let us chant the Buddha's words on loving kindness. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties, and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings they may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harms upon another, even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child. So with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading outwards to the skies and outwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. หันธรรมยังอุทิศนาทิธานคาทายโยพนามาเสอิมินาปุญญากรรมเมนะอุปัชฌายาคุณุตระอาจาริโยปการาจามาตาปิตาจยาตกาสุริโยจันทิมาราชาคุณาวันตานราปิจาพรหมมาราจอินทาจโลกัปปาลาจเทวตายโมมิตามโนสาจะมัชฌตาเวริกาปิจาสัพเพสัตตาสุขีโหนตุปุญญานิปกตานิเมสุขันจติวิทังเทนตุขิปังปาเปทโวมะตังอิมินาปุญญกรรมเมนะอิมินาอุทิเสนะจาขิปาหังสุรเพเจวตันหุปาฐานเชทนังเยสันตาเนหินาธรรมายาวะนิพพานโตมะมังนัสสันตุสัพพทาเยวะยัตถาชาโตภเวภเวอุชุจิตังสติปัญญาสันเลโควิริยัมหินามาราลพันตุโนกาสังกาตุนจะวิริเยสุเมพุทธาทิปะวโรนาโทธัมโมนาโทวรุตตโมนาโทปัจเจกพุทโธจะสังโฆนาโทตโรมะมังเตโสตมานุภาเวนะมาโรกาสังลพันตุมา Now that the chants, the voices of sharing and aspirations, through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers, virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the suns and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through these acts of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge, unsurpassed is the protections of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all this, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. หันธรรมยังเมตตาภารนังกโรมาเสอาหังสุขิโตโหมินิทุโคโหมิอเวโรโหมิอัพยาปโชโหมิอานิโคโหมิสุขีอัตตานังปริหารามิสัพเพสัตตาสุขิตาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอเวราโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอัพยาปชาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาอานิคาโหนตุสัพเพสัตตาสุขีอัตตานังปริหารันตุสัพเพสัตตาสัพพทุกขาปมุญจันตุสัพเพสัตตาลัทธสัมปติโตมาวิคัญชันตุ สัพเพสัตตากัมมัสสกากัมมทายาทากัมมโยนิกัมมพันธุกัมมปฏิสารนายังกัมมังกริสันติกัลยาณังวาปาปกังวาตัสสะทายาทาภเวสันติ Now that the chants the reflections on universal well-being, may I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained when they act upon intentions. All beings are the owners of their actions and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such actions, and its results will be their home. All actions with intentions, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts, they will be the heirs. Okay, so now we do the Mangala Sutta chanting. Ewang me sutang ekang samayang bhagava savatthiyang viharati cetawane anathapintika saarame attako anyatara tevata abhikantaya rattiya abhikantavanna kevarakappang cetawanaโอภาเสตวาเยนะภัคควาเตนุปสังกมิอุปสังกมิตวาภควันตังอภิวาเทตวาเอกมันตังอัฏฐาสิเอกมันตังทิตาโคสาเทวตาภควันตังคาถายะอัจฉภาสีพาหุเทวามนุสสาจามังคลานิอาจินตยุงอากังขมานาโสธานังปรูหิมังคารมุตตมังอเสวนาจะพาลานังปัญชิตานันจะเสวนาปูชาจะปูชนียานังเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังปฏิรูปเทสวาโสจาปุพเพจักกตปุญญาตาอัตตสัมมาปณิทิจาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังพาหุสัจจันจะสิปปัญจวินโยจะสุสิกขิโตสุภาสิตาจะยาวาจาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังมาตาปิตุอุปัฏฐานังพุทธทารัสสสังฆโหอนาคุลาจะกัมมันตาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังทานันจะธรรมจริยาจายาตกานันจะสังฆโหอนาวัชชานิกัมมานิเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังอารติวิรติปาปามัชฌปานาจะสัญญโมอัปปมาโดจะธัมเมสุเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังคารโวจานิวาโตจาสันตุทิจักตัญยุตากาเลนะธัมมัสสวนังเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังคันติจะโสวจัสสตาสมนานันจะทัสสนังกาเลนะธัมมสสากัจฉาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังตัปโปจะพรหมจริยัญจะอริยสัจจานัทัสสนังนิพพานะสัจฉิกิริยาจาเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังพุทธัสสะโลกธรรมเมหิจิตตังยัสสะนะกัมปติ อโศกังวิรชังเขมังเอตัมมังคารมุตตมังเอตาทิสานิกัตตวานาสัพพัทธมัปปราชิตาสัพพัทธโสทิงคัจฉันติตันเตสังมังคลมุตตมันติ Okay, so we do the translation. The highest blessings. Now let us chant the verses on the highest blessings. Thus have I heard that the blessed one was staying at Savatthi, residing at the Jeta Grove in Anathipindika's park. Then in the dark of the night, a radiant Deva illuminated all Jeta Grove. She bowed down low before the blessed one. Then standing to one side, she said, Devas are concerned for happiness and ever long for peace. The same is true for humankind. What then are the highest blessings? Avoiding those of foolish ways, associating with the wise, and honoring those worthy of honor. These are the highest blessings. Living in presence of suitable kinds, with the fruits of past good deeds, and guided by the rightful way. These are the highest blessings, accomplished in learning and craftsman skills, with disciplines highly trained, and speech that is true and present to hear. These are the highest blessings, providing for mother and father support, and cherishing family, and ways of work that harm no beings. These are the highest blessings, generosities and a righteous life, offerings help to relatives and kin, and actings in ways that leave no blame. These are the highest blessings, steadfast in restraint and shunning evil ways, avoiding intoxicants that dull the mind, and heedfulness in all things that arise. These are the highest blessings, respectfulness and beings of humble ways, contentment and gratitude, and hearing the Dhamma frequently thought. These are the highest blessings, patience and willingness to accept one's faults, seeing venerate seekers of the truth, and sharing often the words of Dhamma. These are the highest blessings, ardent, committed to the holy life, seeing for oneself the noble truths and the realizations of Nibbana. These are the highest blessings, although in contact with the world, unshaking the mind remains, beyond all sorrow, spotless, secure. These are the highest blessings. Those who live by following this path know victory wherever they go, and every place for them is safe. These are the highest blessings. Sadhu, sadhu. Okay, and then we do the recollection of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. หันธมยังพุทธานุสตินยังกโรมาเสตังโคปนะภาควันตังเอวังกัลยาโนกิตติสัทโธอภุคโตอิติปิโสภควาอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิชชาจารณะสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิทูอนุตตโรปุริสธรรมสารถิสัทธาเทวมนุษย์สานังพุทโธภควาติหันธรรมยังธรรมานุสตินยังกโรมาเสสวาคาโตภควตาธัมโมสันทิฏฐิโกอาการิโกเอหิปัสสิโก ปานายิโกปัจจัตตังเวทิตาโพวินโยหิติหันธมยังสังขานุสตินยังกโรมาเสสุปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆอุชุปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆญาญปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆยะทิทังจัตตาริปุริสายุคานิอัตถปุริสปุคคลาเอสาภควโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุนายโยปาหุนายโยทักขินายโยอัญชริกรณิโยอนุตตรังปุญญเขตังโลกัสสาติ Okay, can we do the translation? Now let us chant the recollection of the Buddhas. A good verse of the Blessed One's reputations has read as follows. He, the Blessed Ones, is indeed the pure one, the perfectly enlightened one. He is impeccable in conduct and understanding, the accomplished one, the knower of the worlds. He trained perfectly those who wish to be trained. He is teacher of gods and humans. He is awake and holy. Now let us chant the recollections of the Dhamma. The Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed Ones, apparent here and now, timeless, encouraging investigations, leading inwards, to be experienced individually by the wise. Now let us chant the recollections of the Sangha. They are the Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, who have practiced directly, who have practiced insightfully, those who practice with integrity. That is the four paths, the 8 kinds of noble beings. These are the Blessed One's disciples. Such ones are worthy of gifts, worthy of hospitality, worthy of offerings, worthy of respect. They give occasion for incomparable goodness to arise in the world.
We will now request for 3 refuge, 5 and 8 precepts together. We'll begin by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Mayang bante ti saranena saha Ata pancha silani yachama Dutiyampi mayang bante Ti saranena saha Ata pancha silani yachama Tatiyampi mayang bante Ti saranena saha Ata pancha silani yachama
นะโมตัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ
ตังสรณังคัจฉามิ
บุตตังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
สังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
สังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิพุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ดุติยัมปิสังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ยัมปิพุทธังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิพุทธังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ยัมปิธัมมังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิธัมมังสารนังกัจฉามิ
ยัมปิสังฆังสรณังคัจฉามิ
ตติยัมปิสังฆังสารนังกัจฉามิ
สรณกัมมนังนิธิตัง
อามาบันเต
ปานาติปาตาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
ปานาทิปาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อินนาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อาดีนาดานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กาเมสุมิชฌาจาราเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กาเมสุมิจฉาจาระเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สาวาทาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มุสาวาดาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สุราเมรยะมัชฌปมาทัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
สุราเมรยามัจจาปมาทัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
Now for the eighth preceptor อพรหมจริยาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อาปรมจาริยาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
วิการโภชนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
วิคาลโภจนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
นัจจคีตวัชิตวิสุปทัสสนามาลาคันทะวิเลปนะดารณะมันดนะวิภูสนัฏฐานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
นัจจายิตาวาลิตาวิสุขาดัสสนามาลากันดาวิเลปนะดารณะมันดาวิปุสนาทานาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
กาสยนะมหาสยนาเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
อุชาสยนะมหาสยนะเวรมณีสิกขาปดังสมาธิยามิ
มานิปัญจอัฏฐสิกขาปทานิสมาธิยามิ
อิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปดานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปดานิสมาธิยามิอิมานิอัตถาสิกขาปดานิสมาธิยามิ
สีเลนะสุขติงยันติสีเลนะโภคสัมปทาสีเลนะนิพพุติงยันติตัสมาสีลังวิโสทะเย
สาธุสาธุสาธุ Let us bow 3 times again. Let's bow. Second bow. Third bow. We now formally request for the Dhamma Talk.
พระมาจาโลกาทิปักติสหังปักติกักตันจาริอันทิวักรังอายาจักขังสันติทักษะตาปักรักจักขักจักติกาเทเสทุทังมัง อนุกังปิกมังปักจัง
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมะสามิ Okay, so good morning, everybody. This is Friday's the one prac for us who modern day one prac Fridays. So today we finished starting the day with the chantings and you start with the regular chanting, the metta, the loving kindness, and the Buddha verse on loving kindness, and then the spreading of the sharing the merit. Actually, the sharing merit is supposed to be at the last. Normally, we do it when we finish everything. So we listen to the Dhamma talk and we sit meditate, and then we have a merit and we dedicate to all living beings. But I think the reason why we do it in the beginning because it's people not memorize it, so they have to read from the books. And convenient way is to give the book in the beginning and they read it, and then they listen to the talk and sitting meditation, and then at the end they have to distribute the book again. It's kind of a little bit difficult, and sometimes people, if you leave the chanting book with the seeds, sometimes they might step on it, something like that. So we decide to do it all together at the to get it done. But traditionally, that usually we keep it for the last. We sharing everything we do it, and then we share the merit. And then the loving kindness, the Brahmavihara, the metta. This is the way we expanding our consciousness to include all living beings. And so this is the kind of like a basic minimum way. Even a non-Buddhist, they can still do this because this is it general. It doesn't specific to any particular teaching. The feeling of metta, of loving kindness, and the Buddha verse on loving kindness is universal, basically. And the fact that we have a merit and you can dedicate to the one who passed away, this is also universal. So that's why in the beginning it's just kind of not specific. But then we add on to that, like the blessing, the Mangala Sutta, which is the teaching of the Buddha, is a step by step, giving you can say the goal or the meaning, what it means to be alive, and do life have any meaning whatsoever, or if there's such a meaning, how would we pursue that meaning, either meaning in this world, next world, or the ultimate, in terms of ultimate meaning, what are we, what our direction, what are we aim for the highest goal. So the Mangala Sutta is more like give you the big picture, and then also can be a checklist that we can take a look and see where are we in this kind of big map of life, where are we at, and what are our direction, and to contemplate on that. So it's basically it's a nice thing to chant, and is to come back to this concept of being born as a human being is so precious. It's not by itself precious to being human, because there can be a terrible human beings who do terrible things. The reason why the human being is so precious is because we have opportunity to do this 38 step of blessings. We can look at that in detail. So this is why human being is so precious, because we can take that on, the meaning of life step by step to reach the ultimate goal. So that's what we regularly chant. But then last time people asked me about the 7 factors of enlightenment, and one of them is Piti, the joy or rapture, and there's a causes and condition how to create, how to cultivate Piti, and then in those they have the recollection of Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Part of to cultivate the Piti is to recollection of those. And I because it's so short time, so I say it very quickly, like the 9 quality of the Buddha, 6 quality of the Dhamma, and the 9 quality of the Sanghas, and then I go on, move on, and not realize that many people not knowing what I'm talking about. So today I add that on. It's a basic, actually it's a basic for Buddhists. This chanting that I attach at the end. The quality of the Buddha, itipiso, this word, the quality of the Dhamma, savakato, and quality of the Sangha, supatipanno. So maybe because we have so many chanting, sometimes people lost, don't know what is the real kind of key. I mean, this is the minimum, okay? This itipiso thing, I'm chanting since I was a boy when I stay with my granny. And this thing, if I not chanting, the granny will say you have to chanting first before you can go to sleep. So this is the basic minimum for Buddhists. Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. It's called triple gems, Ratanatraya, triple gem. So we learn it early days in Pali, of course. And I don't know the translation. I just know in Pali because we just do, basically you can do it in 5 minutes, or Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, and then you can go to sleep. So, but it's a lot of meaning in that short phrase, the 9 quality of the Buddha, 6 quality of the Dhamma, and the 9 quality of the Sangha. And once you chant it every day, and then you learn the meaning of it, it just go very deep, because you don't know, you've been chanting it for decades, and slowly you learn it. What is the meaning? It's very good. Now you start the day and ending the day with the word of truth, even though in the beginning you don't know what it means, but at least you do something that is true, and you starting the day with the truth. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is do some kind of recollection, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, and before you go to bed, then the last thing you do through the day is to do these recollections, and it's the true word. And for Buddhists, this is the refuge. This is the meaning when we say we take the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha as a refuge. And it's good to know what each of those mean. What does a Buddha mean? What does a Sangha mean? What does the Sangha mean? The Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. And this is the shortest explanation that you can get. And this is come directly from the sutta. When you go and study the sutta, this is exactly the word that people hear, and then know that this is the real Buddha. This is the real enlightened one. Because this is not easy to know who is a great teacher. In the old day, the word Bhagavan means the master or the great teacher. Is all over the places. This one is Bhagavan, this one is Bhagavan. Everybody say they are Bhagavan. So how do you know which one is your true teacher? So you have to have a word that has a meaning of it. So the name Buddha is not. It's a name that is almost like the title that was given to some people who got enlightened, who know, or awake. It's a very deep meaning, which is mean that everybody is asleep. And when you wake up then you become a teacher. And so the word in itself is kind of expand upon what is a real teacher is. Have to be awakened. The one who can teach is have to be awake himself first before he go and wake up other people, and have to be pure. And the word arahant is also have a lot of meaning. Pure, free from greed, hatred, and delusion, which is the three main poison, negative emotions. So this is just the meaning of what can be qualified as our teacher. You have to be having this quality. So it's good to study a little bit of what is meaning of the Bhagava or the great teacher. What is the meaning of Arahant? What is the meaning of the Samma Sambuddho? This thing I think is pretty much tying with the language, but it's good to know it. Start a little bit by bit and learn the meaning of it, and to be inspired by this word, and just have a time to sit and think about what each word means. What does it really mean by having this word? Like word itipiso bhagava, we say, because of this reason, this is my teacher, bhagava. And then you go on, arahant samma sambuddho. Arahant is the one who basically so many meaning. Can be meaning of the one who far away from defilements, or the one who destroyed the enemies, destroy the wheel of samsara. So I think I sent the link you can do on study in the Telegraph program, so you can take a look. But it's good to go on one by one and study in detail what it means, the quality of the Buddha. So actually, if you just have one quality, it's good enough for you to take him as a teacher. But he have all 9 qualities, which is the perfect enlightenment. Everything is just so perfect. So that's why when you have this declaration, it's bring a lot of joy, because you just realize that this is not easy for anybody who cultivate this for a very, very long time to finally at the last life he become fully enlightened teacher. And it's not easy to have such a person as our teacher. So it's very it's time for us to make that declarations. And Ajahn Chah always say that if we really know the meaning of the thing that we say, the thing that we chant or we recite, then we will have a tear in our eyes. Just by recollection of one word, what's the meaning of each word deeply? What is the mean? And you can go and read the Chataka story, how he having that the parami or the cultivate. Sometimes he basically traded for his life. He pursuing this question very seriously, many lifetime, in able to teach us. It's not the thing that he was just thinking like philosophy and okay, this is what I'm thinking, but he really he teach what he be. He become that person, understand it deeply, and he teach from his personal experience. So that's why it's being joy every time we chant that. So it should be something that we do regularly for the Buddhists. We can do the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, the recollection of each quality, and have a time to sit down and read through that and contemplate what is each one mean. And the Dhamma is also a great source of reflections. But again, I mean, it's good to know a Pali a little bit, because when you translate, then it's not really able to capture all the meaning of the word. So there's so many shortcomings of translation. So maybe it's good to look at different translation, so for you to understand the real meaning of it. Sometimes it's very difficult to translate in just one short term. You have to look at the root and where it's come from and why we can translate in such and such way. So yeah, it's just good to look at that and what is the meaning of each word. Like the words Dhamma, we translate as Akaliko, timeless. I mean, this is, of course, Akaliko, Kali mean Kala mean times, and A mean no or timeless. I think it's probably in the word is probably okay, but the meaning is more technical than that. The timeless here is mean the karma that when we do, we receive the result right away. We don't have to wait until next life. Like many religions, you do this and then you wait and then you go to heaven next life. But this Dhamma, which is Nibbana, you can realize it in this lifetime. And the word here is mean Makka, because when you practice path, Noble Eightfold Paths come together, the next moment is the fruit right away. So they have some more technical term in each one of them. So you have to understand a little bit to know what's the meaning. So actually, all the word Dhamma is mean super mundane. So it's Makka, 4 Makka and 4 Phala and Nibbana. So it's 9 of those. And of course, you have to include the teaching of Buddha as well. So this is the way of why it's good to study. This recollection, unless you study, you might not know what you're talking about. You can translate, but you don't understand. It's just so shallow. You have to go deeper to know the meaning of each one and appreciate and have joy and can recollect of those terms. And in the Piti, there's some contemplation of these topics, recollection of Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, and it's already in the chanting. And then contemplation of the Sila. This is our own precept, training precept. So this is the thing that you can look in yourself, whether you, whatever precept that you undertake, 5 or 8 or 10, then the purity of that precept, something that you can reflect upon. This again, you also have to learn as well of what is consider breaking the precept, what is not breaking but maybe changing a little bit, or so. Here, this is you have to understand, to appreciate. If you don't know the precept, then you can't have a joy in keeping them. And generosity, I think this is probably easy enough. You whatever thing that you offering, called Jhakanusati. But actually, it's not only for the material thing. You can be generous in your time, helping out, and the quality of God here is mean. It's not mean that actually here is mean internal. You look at the gods, what the quality for them to develop to become gods, and then you look at it in yourself. Okay, I also have that qualities. So that is the quality of the God. And the last one is peacefulness. It's a translation for Uppasamanusati. Uppasama is mean, Uppa mean approaching, Sama mean peaceful. Actually, this word is mean Nibbana. So that's why you have to read a little bit to know. It's just not regular peacefulness, but ultimate peacefulness. Uppasamanusati is Nibbana. And actually, these 7 recollections, in order for you to be recollect upon it, it have to be the Aliyah Bukkala, the noble beings. I mean, technically, because you will understand. Unless you are Arya Bukkala, you will not understand the meaning of Buddha and Dhamma and Sangha fully. And the meaning of Sila, you have to be Arya Bukkala, generosity and quality of God, and peacefulness. So in a way, you have to become the noble yourself to fully understand each meaning of it. But even you are not Arya Bukkala yet, if you still practicing, have a lot of faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, you can still make the correction. Of course, with some study, maybe learning some sutta, reading a little bit, life story of the Buddha, study the sutta, scripture, go and meet the Sangha, talk to them, and then understand it and take up the sila yourself, being generous and develop the quality of the God, cultivate it within yourself. And then the peacefulness is bending toward peacefulness, ultimate peacefulness, which is Nibbana. So even though we are not there yet, but there are so many ways of recollection the meaning of the word Nibbana or the word ultimate peace. Because it's very important to know the ultimate goals. See, if you not know the goal, then you might get lost. But if you know the goal, then it will keep in check whether the practice that you do leading you toward that goal or not. Even if it leads you away from this ultimate peace, then you know that you lost your way. So now and then it's good to go and contemplate on what is really mean by Nibbana. Okay. Of course, if you not experience directly experience it, it's good to cultivate or contemplate it from the word. So there are so many sutta that have the quality of Nibbana that you can basically study. One of them is called Akhappasada Sutta, the sutta on the devotion of faith. What is the highest object that worthy of faith, which is of course, if it all beings, the Buddha is the best of all the Dhamma. They divide into two: the Sankata, the one with formations, then the Noble Eightfold Path is the highest. But the one without formation, Asankata, the Nibbana is the highest. And the Sangha, of course, of all the group of people in the world, the Sangha is the best. So when you put you have a connection to this Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, then the result of that will be the best. It's called Akhappasada Sutta. In this sutta, they give so many wording for Nibbana. For example, the Nibbana is quality of, in Pali it's called Mattanim Mattano, meaning that Madda is like mad. It's a very connection to the word in English as well. Madda, mad, but it's mean like drunk. When you intoxic, when you drunk, when you lost in either of your conceit of yourself, or maybe you conceit of your beauty, you are free from illness, you are still young, or sometimes you are drunk about you being human or being man, whatever, you can get drunk in that. So basically wake up or basically not drawn into that drunkenness. It's called the Nibbana. And it's also mean Vipasa Vinayo, quenching the thirst, no longer craving for water. Alaya Samukhato, to uproot the attachment or the longing, and what to pacheto, to destroy the cycle of kilesa, kamma, and vipaka, the defilements and then action, and then the result of that, which means to reborn, the next reborn. So this cycle of rebirth, the samsara, to the destroyer of this samsara, this quality of nibbana. So now and again, yes, we go back to that, contemplate on that, whether that's still your goal or not. So when you reflect on the word nibbana, then actually is make it things is more easy because it simplify things. Otherwise, it might be a lot of things to worry about. When sometimes we practice, it's like you're keeping a lot of many things in the air. But when you aim for just one goal, nibbana is basically cut all those worry and just focus on just basically quench of all this longing for doing this and that and those. All we want is just to be free from suffering, which is the cycle of rebirth. And to do that, then we have to cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path. All we need to do is to do that, the Noble Eightfold Path. But just to keep an eye on the goal now and again is very important. Otherwise, we might think that we're heading for that direction, but more and more we leading away from that. So that the whole meaning of the upasama, the contemplation of the peacefulness. Of course, if you practice during the day, I think there will be the time for you that you're able to, you're not holding this kilesa all the time. Yeah, sometimes that you put that down, sometimes that the mind is so relieved and okay, I'm not really worry about this and that. And that can be the thing that you can reflect upon of how light it is when you don't have to carry this burden. So I think in the practice the holy life, it's good to appreciate what that we letting go of, the thing that we don't have to be worry about. So many things that we have to worry about. But when we practice to the point where, okay, this is the thing that I used to be so much worried about. It used to be a very big thing in my life, but now I really don't care much about those things. I'm okay without it. Just able to let it down and be happy about it. Not have to carry it, not have to identify with it. So that can be another way of freeing yourself from this cycle. So it's good to be back to the basic. When you are free time, when you do all those things that you need to do, when you have the quiet time during your busy day, so you maybe use that for your reflections. You can start with chanting. It's a good way of transition between the very busy life into something that is teaching of the Buddha. Actually, the chanting is supposed to be the thing that we learn already. It just almost like you know it already, but it reminds you of the thing that you already learned. So it's good to, if you don't know it yet, maybe go and study the thing that you chant first. So you when you chant it, you have a lot of, the meaning of it. Because it's not just the sound of it, also the meaning of it that make you reoriented yourself. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm doing the way that leading to my goal. Just remind yourself, this is what the noble beings are doing, and this is how they're thinking. So once in a while you realign yourself with the thinking of the noble one, and then it will help you with understanding, and then use that as a contemplation, recollection of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, your own precept, the generosity of people that's supporting you around. Nobody live by themselves. You have to rely on many people who basically keep things flowing, the water running, the electricity going, the food on our table. It's all connected to many living beings that a lot of work for them. So for a chance for us to practice, so we feel that connection, and then the quality of the God or the human being that is morality higher than us. We take that as our role models, but we too can be aspire to be like them when we cultivate the quality to be excel in certain area. And finally, everything that we obtain have to go their way when cause and condition are no longer there. So the real goal for us all is to realize Nibbana, the free of all suffering of these five khandha, these five aggregates. So this is basically the subject of recollection that can bring the joy in your practice. Because if you don't have joy, then your practice is quite dry and not really, you don't want to practice. But one of the indicator whether you are practice, how's your practice, is whether you enjoy your practice or not. I think it's pretty much, if you are, say, if you have a free time of like half an hour, what will you do? If you really enjoy, okay, this is what I want to do, to study the sutta, to do some chanting, to listen to Dhamma Talk, and to meditate, then this is the chance that your practice will be going well, because you enjoy your practice. And one of the way to enjoy your practice is to bring joy, with rapture in the triple gems, thing that we take as a refuge. And then use that as a foundation for you to go into the meditation with it as a foundation. And by the way, I always wonder, why do we have to do the chanting 3 times? Why when we say Namo Tassa Bhagavato, we do it 3 times. Okay, so it's to make sure that we really take a refuge. That's one of the explanation. But there was some in the sutta, like the word Namo Tassa, it's a word that people say when sometimes they have a lot of confidence, joy in the Buddha. In the scripture, it's called Brahmayu. He say word Namo Tassa 3 times. And another occasion is when the Brahmani, she was a stream enterer. She listened to the Dhamma Talk and she becomes stream enterer. And every time she panicked or maybe she sleep about to fall away, she will say Namo Tassa 3 times. And her husband is he's a Brahmin, so he got very angry, and he said, stop saying that. If you're saying that, I will cut you in piece, because tomorrow I bring the ascetic from other sect, to feed in our house. So you have to serve them, but never say this Namo Tassa. But she brings some dish, but she slipped, and then she said Namo Tassa 3 times, and then all those ascetic are basically this is inauspicious to hear these words, and they all go away. And the Brahmin is very angry, so he go and then challenge the Buddha, and finally he become one of the disciples and attain arhatship. So this is an example of the word Namo Tassa that we do in the beginning. It has a meaning. Even before the Buddha times, there was the boy who are going with the parents in the town, and the parents go in the town to sell some merchants, but he can't get out because the gate was closed, and the boy was left outside by himself. And then the ghosts are coming to grab the boy, and because the boy is chanting Namo Tassa every time, so when he panicked, he chant this Namo Tassa, and the ghost can't catch the boy. So this is one of the benefit of chanting these words of truth. And actually, this is the meaning when I was young, before I go to bed. It used to be that I'm stay with my grandmother, and on the weekends, my parents will bring me to my grandparents' house, and I will stay there. And there was a very old house, wooden house, and there was a very popular ghost story there. And all my parents, my grandparents are watching it downstairs. But because I was so young, they was letting me out first, so you're not supposed to look at this scary movie. But the sound of it going up, so I was very scared, sleep by myself, and I couldn't go to sleep. And then my granny come up and then teach me how to chant. So this is the way I'm chanting Namo Tassa Iti Piso. And then she said, okay, when you chant this, the ghost couldn't touch you. Well, I believe in that. And actually, since the early days, that's why every day before I go, I will do the chanting first, Namo Tassa and Iti Piso. If I not finish chanting, I will not sleep. And it just turned out to be very skillful mean of, at least for the a scary boy, you teach them something and they learn it by heart. And even though they not know the meaning, but later on, when you know how deep the meanings go, it's very inspiring. So this is the way of the word, the Namo Tassa, and the declaration of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha that you can learn, and maybe you can teach your kid or whatever to chant before they go to sleep. It's very helpful. And I just come across another sutta which is interesting of the reason why when we take a refuge, we have to do it 3 times. The first time I take a refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and then for the second time I take a refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and for the third time. And I always, why have to be 3 times? So I come across this sutta. Interesting is it's called Siha Sutta. Siha is mean lion. The name is lion. Siha is basically he's like a Senabadi, is a chief of the army in Vesali. So he's a very high position. But he was a disciple of Nikon, the Jain sects. But the Buddha go in there and teach, and all the prince listen to his talk, and then they come out and they say, oh, the Buddha teaching is so great, it's the Buddha is full enlightenment, basically the word Iti Piso and all these things, the quality of the Buddha. And Siha go there and think, oh, the Buddha must know something. I want to go and then discuss with him to learn from him. So he go and he asked his teacher, which is Nikon. Nikon is stop him. No, don't go there. The Buddha teaching the thing about not doing. We are the one who do. The Buddha, he just so relaxed. He doesn't put the real practice, not like us. We do some ascetic practice. We do some real thing. So for the first time, he will kind of forget about it. But the second time again, the prince in Vesali are talking about the Buddha. So he want to go and he asked permission from his teacher. And he says, no, don't go. The Buddha he's teaching nonsense. He's not doing the real thing. We are the one who do it the real thing. Don't go. So for the second time, Siha come back again, forget about it. And then for the third time, the prince talking more, the Dhamma is the best, and when we discussed it, Siha said, oh, I want to see the Buddha. He must be the real one. What the point of going to ask my teacher? So for the third time, he no longer go and ask the Nikon. He just go by himself. So he go and then basically have a discussion with the Buddha. And very interesting. There was so many misunderstanding during those early days of what the Buddha teach. Say this one of the example of somebody think that he's not doing the thing that he's supposed to do. So I think because the Jain they are very ascetic. They practice very strictly. The way they practice, they have to cover their mouths because they don't want any small bacteria or whatever in, and they have the broom that they're sweeping, so not want to step on the small animals. So they go in very detail of many meticulous practice. So they attach to that very much. Sometimes some of the Jain monks, they not even have a cloth. They just naked, because they consider this is the way of practice. So they look at the monk like, oh, this is not really the way of the practice. So the Buddha have to basically one by one correct the understanding of Siha. And when after the Buddha basically clear explain to him what is the Buddha teach. Sometimes the Buddha said, oh, the Buddha is talking about not getting reborn again, because most people want to go to heaven, and not to reborn again is something that is so dreadful to them. What you mean by not being born. But the Buddha said, it's of course it goes step by step. First, you're not getting born in the lower realms, and then I think that is most people probably want that, isn't it? Even though you want to be reborn, but you don't want to be reborn in the bad destination. This is for the stream enterer. You will be reborn as a 7th time as the most. And then the next step is to not to reborn in all the sensual world at all. It's just reborn in the Brahma world, which is another. The sensual world is, even though there's so many pressure in the sensual world, but the drawback is much more. So if you can get away with it, it's probably better. So, and then the last one is to get rid of all those existent. The bhava is the arahant. So it's just step by step, and then you need some maturity to appreciate what the Buddha is teaching. So in the end, the Siha understand and really joy in the Buddha. So he asks for the first time, okay, from now on, the Buddha is teaching so clearly, and I understand it completely, and I want to take a refuge in the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Bhikkhu Sangha as my refuge. And the Buddha said, Siha, wait a minute, not so hurry. You are the famous person. You are basically you are the chief of the army. What your decision make is very important for your inferior and for the people around you. So be cautious before not to rush into. Sometimes you make some judgment because you have a strong emotion. So the Buddha, said, no, not so hurry. Just think about it again, because in your position, it's good to thought it out carefully before you accept any teaching. And Siha, right away, he very impressed. He said, when I was taking into Jain, when I take a refuge in them, they accept me right away. Not only that, they go around and then announce it to the whole town, announcing, "Oh, Siha is my discipline now." But for the Buddha, it's almost opposite. He doesn't basically rushing. He say that, let me think about it. Let me think it through. So he even more inspired by that. He said, definitely, I really want to take a refuge in you. So this is the reason why he's doing the second time. And again, on the second time, the Buddha said, okay, even though you want to accept this teaching, take a refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, but yourself and your family has long taken care of the Jain, of the ascetic people, of Jain people, then please continue to support them. So the Siha is even more impressed because he said, normally people thought the Buddha teaching only giving to himself, giving to the Sangha will bring most merit. But now he's doing the opposite. He care about people who get my support. And he said, okay, I will take a look at that, whether which is the time and place for me to continue to give to the Jain or not. But for the third time now, I want to take a refuge in the Buddha. And only for the third time that the Buddha said, okay, yeah, the Buddha accept, and he become convert. You can say convert to Buddhist with the whole family, and now he support the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. So I think it's one of the reasons why it's good to know about this story about the sutta. So when we take a refuge for the second time, for the third time, we can relate to that story. Okay, when we ask for the first time, we say, okay, it's not only us. It's not, we have a connection of many people. We are a responsible person. What our decision is also mean for other people as well. And so for the third time, whoever we support, the religion that the people in the past, we continue to support them, even though we convert into Buddhism. I think in this way, the Buddhist conversion is always smooth transition. It's not like when you go to Buddhism and you go back and you basically destroy the previous religion, but you actually you take up the understanding and still support the one that you coming from with a sense of gratitude, of okay, this is I'm knowing better now, but even though the past is still causing condition for me, I come this far because of that particular causing condition, and okay, now I'm knowing better, but yet I'm not neglecting the past. I still cherish it and transcend it to the next dimension. So the having this triple gems and 3 times, not only for the confirmation of your belief, but it also reflects on the well thought out. When you take anything into a refuge, what is the mean by that? What is mean by taking up a refuge? Actually, the word sarana, taking the saranang kachami, we translate as a refuge, is only one translation, because the word sara can mean it's the same root as the word arrow, which means destroy. So it can mean that you take Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha as a weapon to destroy the defilements, to destroy the suffering in the future. If you're the stream enterer, you destroy all those 7 lives afterward, and all the suffering that coming from reborn in those is all gone. So the refuge has the deeper meaning as well. It's not just the refuge where you just go there and take a rest and then come out, but it has the power to destroy the enemy as well. The enemy being the greed-hatred and delusion. So when you take a refuge, the quality of the refuge should be able to destroy the bad things. Your greed should be less, your hatred, anger should be less, and your delusion should be less because of the refuge in that. Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha is have a powerful of destroying the opposite, destroying the wanting mind, the longing, the negative, try to push away, and the confusion, delusion. They have the power to clarify and very clear what is the right and what is wrong, and to be able to have a courage to take up the right thing and to abandon the wrong thing. So to take the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha as a refuge have a very deep meaning. And when we chant it, when we contemplate on the meaning of it, it's bring joy. That's why it's the power of the triple gem. That's why of all those precious things in the world, this is the highest one. It's even precious than anything in the world, because it has a power of taking you to either good birth or eventually away from all those suffering. That's why it's called the highest precious gems, the treasure. Okay, so I want to go to the thing that I sent to you, the comparison between the Chakravarti, the emperor, and the Pochong. I think I sent it in the telegraph. The first one, yeah. Okay, this one. Okay, so this is the 7 treasure that come with the wheel turning monarch, wheel spinning monarch. So in the red one is a 7 thing that the wheel turning monarch has. First one is the wheel. The wheel here, it's kind of, I don't know what it means, but it's form of like a disc that carry you to wherever you want to go. Maybe it's a UFO, maybe whatever the aircraft that is bring you to the place that you want to go. The monarch have to have that. And the second one is elephant. Third one is a horse. This is for the army. In the old ancient army, the elephant is very important. It has a lot of powerful, and the horse is going really quickly. And the fourth one is jewels, the precious thing that you can have. And the fifth one is woman. It's basically a very soft skin and but help with. They said when you cold, her body will be warm. When you hot, her body will be cold. So this is kind of the mythical kind of a woman that will basically being praised in many ways. She can cook very well, and she can take good care of you. Basically, the king, the great king, you need to have that. And then the great treasurer who are able to get all those wealth, all in the country, every corner he can bring the treasure to you. And of course, the last one is counselor, who can give you the guidance of how to guide and rule the kingdom. So this is the basically the 7 treasures of the emperor. Many king in, I think, from India onwards, even to China sometime, and the Southeast Asian, they have this kind of the role model of want to be the king with these 7 treasure. They will have, if they have such a 7 thing, they can basically spread the power over the world. But this is also compared to the 7 treasure of the Potipakaya Dhamma, the Pochong, the 7 factor of enlightenment. And you can go and you can look at it and maybe think about it, why the Buddha put that in that order. The mindfulness is number 1, is equal to the will. Dhamma investigation is equal to the elephants. The effort is equal to the horse. The joy is equal to the jewel. Tranquility is equal to the woman. Concentration is like a treasure. Basically, it's called samapatti. In Thai, sampat and samapatti is the same word. The more you have concentration, the more treasure you have. It's like that. In the Buddha or in the Buddhist, it's not how much treasure you have, it's how much concentration you have that consider your wealth. And the last one is equanimity. Is actually is the meaning of comparable to counselor. When you have equanimity, you can make the good decision. When you have decision with either great hatred and delusion, then you can't have a good decision making. So that's why this quality actually is, you can say is in the when you create the myth of it, then this is what it means, 7 treasure of the king. But it's just a quality that you cultivate. Like the will, it's like mindfulness. Mindfulness, you can go anywhere and you can be ground on that particular place. Mindfulness is the first one who basically ground you to the thing and become powerful over that land, because you have a mindfulness, you set the foot in that land. And elephant is like to investigation, the Dhamma investigation. The elephant is the biggest animal, it's the most powerful. So the Dhamma investigation is like that. And effort is the heart, is basically, you can see it's direct link there. Joy and jewel is basically when you have that joy in the 7 factor of enlightenment, it's like you have jewels in your possession. Every time you look at them, you enjoy that you have this decoration. The same way, when you have the joy, when you process the sutta, you understand the meaning of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. It's like you have jewel there. You can always go there and the same way as jewel make people are so happy. The joy of contemplate on this sutta is make you happy. And tranquility is the same. Like you have a good wife, every time you go to her, all those desire, all these things is coming down, calm down. The tranquility have that kind of potential. Concentration, again, concentration is like a treasure. When you cultivate the concentration, first, second, third, fourth jhana, then that was the treasure. And actually, this is better than the treasure, because if you have this jhana, the next life is guaranteed you to go to the Brahma world right away, and you enjoy all those wealth that coming from that world. And the last one, equanimity, is equal to counselor. You need a good equanimity to balance yourself and to guide you toward make a decision. So this, I find this metaphor is really beautiful, and you can cultivate on, contemplate on that when you cultivate this 7 factor of enlightenment and look at that in this way. Okay, so just to finish that, people ask about the 7 factor of enlightenment. So I give the cause and condition for each of them. You can go back and then read through it if you want to cultivate each one, what you have to do in order to get that. And then this is the metaphor. Once you get that, then you become like a Buddha. You cultivate this factor, and in a way, it's like you are the will turning monarch. You got all this within in your bodies or your own kingdom. You get the you can rule over your body with this authority, with this with the emperor. Okay, so I will leave this Dhamma reflections on this joy and this recollections of the triple gems, and may you able to use the reflections and until we meet next week.
Andamaya Dhamma Kathaya Sadhu Karang Dadamase.
Sadhu, 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 anumodami. Thank you, Tan Ajahn, for the teaching. Let's pay respect to Tan Ajahn again by bowing 3 times. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. We invite Tan Ajahn to lead us in the closing homage, please.
Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivatemi Sawakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅkhang Namami.
Tutan Ajahn, see Tan Ajahn next Friday again.
Hey, see you next Friday.